Sorry.
Next up, Blaze legendary team is
Blaze?
Talonflame, Rotom.
Fire Rotom.
Well, I can't remember what form it is. I think it's the
oven. It's the oven.
It's an oven or a microwave.
Comment down below if you know what the Fire Rotom is.
It's one. I know what it is. I just can't remember what it's called. Anyways, Flareon.
Second evolution.
And of course, then we go on to some of my little favorite fire types. Delphox.
Delphox is mine.
Sadly, Delphox is not my favorite starter type.
Yours is Skiptile.
No, I said my favorite fire type starter.
Charmander?
No. Infernape.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I was a huge fan of Pearl and the Pokemon Adventures.
If any Pokemon starters are mentioned, I will say my favorite one. I will say my favorite type.
What is your favorite starter? I don't even know what your favorite starter is.
Popplio.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that.
I like Popplio because it's a mermaid. It turns into a mermaid at the end. As its final evolution.
But Blaze's other two.
Of course, I got a boy.
Blaze's ace
is
Mega Blaziken, and his legendary is the legendary Pokemon of Victory.
Wait.
No.
Do your impression.
No.
Do it!
Not on camera.
Do it!
Not on camera.
It's Victini. He can do a Victini impression.
Yes, but
he won't
Victini,
do it.
No, not on camera. Now we move into the three main.
The three strongest. Next city you go to
Apathy.
Is Apathy City, all the way at the top of the Ru'an Desert.
Here, it's basically a bunch of psychics and other smart people. It is.
Yes, and the gym leader there is Gym Leader Chris, aka the second type gym leader.
I just noticed that you didn't change it yet.
What?
On this one.
Oh yeah! It's actually his full. He is one of the only gym leaders whose full name we actually have. It's Christopher Wallace.
But Xatu, Meowstic, Espeon, and Gothitelle, his basic team. Later on, when you
Jirachi and Mega Gallade.
I love Mega Gallade.
Of course, Gallade. Mega Gallade is a boy.
Oh my gosh, it was always so hard for me to choose between Mega Gallade and Mega Gardevoir.
I like Mega Gardevoir.
Okay, next up we move into the two strongest. These two are siblings,
The oldest is the strongest type gym leader. Is the strongest gym leader, and then the youngest is the second. But then later, and then in our second league, and then the third league we came up with their younger brother is the strongest, and then
here
the youngest.
Here we'll split it because here there are multiple gym leaders.
And then the youngest's twin kids, a boy and a girl, are the second strongest, and they are a duo. So you battled them at the same time.
So here.
They're a duo.
We go back to Jade City.
We go all the way to Jade City, which is technically the first city that which you pass through, but you cannot battle the gym leader.
And here you battle the gym leader.
You battle the rock type gym leader, Dente Mist.
Here he starts off with a Gigalith, a Rhyperior, a Rampardos, a Lycanroc Midnight.
A Midnight Lycanroc, which is amazing, and the reasoning behind that is, in something that we are going to be doing, the Dente in that is a werewolf, and Midnight Lycanroc looks like a werewolf. So yeah.
I kind of want to give him Dusk Lycanroc later on, but I don't know. Maybe we'll give somebody else. Maybe you can have a Dusk Lycanroc.
And then in our third league, he becomes the strongest Elite Four member.
His Mega is Aerodactyl. His Legendary is Terrakion. Followed by that, though, he does have twin kids later on.
He has a boy and a girl named May and Kabaz, who actually become the Dragon type gym leader duo.
They replace the Rock type gym leader after he becomes a member of the Elite Four.
Because his mom and uncle retired, so he and his big sister become part of the Elite Four.
He is replaced by his twin kids.
May and Kabaz. May is the oldest and is more outgoing than her younger brother, and her younger brother is more shy.
This is going to be a tag team battle, kind of like Tate and Liza from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. Which is actually, when I played Ruby, it was the hardest gym ever to beat.
When you first battled them, Kabaz sent in the new fire dragon type
Tyranitar.
and then May sends
out
in a Drampa.
Yeah, Drampa. Who doesn't like Drampa? And then we move on, and if you can get past those two, there are two main Pokemon that you have to fight are going to be Haxorus and Hydreigon. And
then the last two
in their
are the Mega Legendary Twins, Latios and Latias.
Yep. As we move on, we go to Aqua Town, where you get to face the final gym leader.
The water type Lilith.
She'll start with...
her parents call her Snowflake because she was born in January.
So
she loves water types. And her first ever Pokemon is her Ace, which is... Her first Pokemon was a Horsea, which evolved into her Ace Kingdra.
She starts off with a Greninja, followed if you can defeat that legendary beast.
Yes.
You will.
But the Greninja cannot synergy evolve.
Oh no, duh! It's not Ash's Greninja.
That's the sad part.
It's not Ash Greninja.
It's not Ash Greninja.
It will be followed by a Lapras, which will be followed by Vaporeon. Which will be followed by Kingdra.
That is the fourth evolution in the league.
And of course, if you can defeat Kingdra, you have to face her Mega Gyarados.
Who she calls Shrimp. Because
no,
Mega Gyarados.
That's what I call Mega Gyarados because it looks like a piece of shrimp to me.
And when I saw it, I was like, I want to eat it. I do. And then her final Pokemon that you will go up against is the legendary water type Keldeo.
And of course, later on, the other gym leader there is her youngest brother, the younger of her two younger brothers.
The younger brother is 12 years younger than his big brother.
Is it really? It is that big of a gap.
12 years. And his older siblings at the time that he joins the league, he joins when he was 10. His older brother is 22, and then his big sister is 26.
Of course, his team is not what you would expect. He is
the flying type gym leader, aka the Sky Prince, which his friends call him.
He starts off with a Pelipper. Now, I don't know. I like Pelipper, but I don't know. Pelipper's design is sometimes silly.
Sorry about this. I gotta check my home screen, make sure that I don't have. I do have two.
You have two what? Okay, is it still going?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, thankfully it is still going. I am happy, so I'm just gonna minimize out of that.
Okay. His team, he starts off with a Pelipper.
Of course.
I like Pelipper, but of course the Pelipper comes from the fact that he is a flying type expert, and his older sister is a water type expert.
Who was trained by their great aunt.
Uncle.
Great. He was. His older sister was trained by their great uncle, and then his older brother was trained by their great aunt, who on their mother's side, and those two are actually twins.
Yeah.
But they aren't a duo. They're two different people.
And then he follows it up with a Minior, Rock and Flying, dedicated to his brother. Mm-hmm. Then he goes on to one of the more interesting, being Togekiss, which is actually a tribute to his mother.
And his mother is the Fairy type Elite Four member, but we will get to her later.
Then he follows it up with a Dragonite, which is a tribute to his niece and nephew,
who are the Dragon type gym leaders, which we just explained.
Then he follows it up with a Mega Pidgeot. It's a Mega Pidgeot. And then he follows it up with the legendary Pokemon Shaman, which is his ace, and it's also a tribute to his father's signature Pokemon.
Skeptile.
Yep.
A Mega Skeptile. Yay.
And that's followed up.
And then...
That's when you defeat them.
But Rikozu is a bit arrogant,
yes.
But his mother does put him in his place during a battle between all of his entire family. His mom, his granddad, his great uncles, and his great aunt, and then his two siblings. They all go up head to head. And then also Blaze and Snow's father, Levi, who is the former fire type gym leader. Before them, and then their mother was the ice type.
Okay. Before we move on to the final five, we'll talk about Professor Leaf for a minute. Professor Leaf is